to another episode of The Hard Truth. Thank you so much for watching. Today I have a very exciting episode for you. We're talking about the timeline according to the PCA and how it is related to the three additional DNA sources that were found at the Idaho 4 crime scene. So buckle up, grab that coffee or a nice cup of tea as we begin our story. The first problem that I have is the 9 or 10 minutes, and that's being generous, that the killer or killers had to maneuver around a 3-story home, manage a dog, scuffle a bit with Kaylee and Xana, and then leave. I just feel like, if I actually tried to do this in my own home, it would take more than 9 or 10 minutes. I just feel like that's just a stretch. Number two, there's a latent footprint in front of Dylan's door, but there's no mention of traces of blood in the kitchen or bathroom sinks to where maybe the intruder or intruders washed their hands or did something to prepare themselves to be able to get into a car once they leave the scene. And let's say this is Brian Koberger and he's got two other people with him and they all have to get back in his car. Well, that makes it even more unlikely that it was true because three people in his car and no evidence of the crime scene. What's the odds that, okay, that he didn't transfer? But what about the other two people or three people that get back in his car? None of them transferred anything? I mean, this is pretty much virtually impossible. So if the suspect vehicle is Brian's and he was there with two other people, three other people, maybe the person that dropped the glove on the outside fled and didn't get back in the car. But the other two that will have their DNA close to that room and Brian, all three of them getting into the same car, and there's not one drop of evidence from the crime scene. I don't think it's possible. Okay, I'm just be honest with you. I don't, and I'm not saying that because I'm leaning one way or the other concerning Brian's guilt or innocence. I'm talking about probability, okay, and forensics and how hard it is to hide or get rid of blood and dog hair, human saliva, things you can't, skin cells, things that you can't see without a microscope. That's what I'm talking about. I don't understand how one person would visualize going into a split level home like this one with potentially 6 to 12 to 15, 20 people in it on a Saturday night with one knife. One person with one knife. I just can't see that. And so the other DNA sources do point to multiple people involved. And so for that reason, it increases the probability that there will be some crime scene evidence in Brian Koberger's car. I'm sorry, I can't get past that one.
On the news narrative to Idaho model and the night they were murdered.
Was not the car. This is the car. Now, we understand that they have matched him up to DNA at the crime scene. It can't just be any DNA because that was a real party house. And is there anything wrong with that? Having a good time? But DNA at critical locations, such as in both the bedrooms, on all the bodies or more than one body. But DNA at critical locations, such as in both the bedrooms, on all the bodies or more than one body.
Nancy Grace just brought up a brilliant argument for the defense by accident. Like she said, significant places, the DNA, since it was a party house, it should have been in both rooms instead of just one room, and it should have been on more than one victim. And so when you think about it, they really can't charge Koberger with quadruple murder. They can only charge him with Maddie's murder because they can't prove that whatever weapon killed Maddie is the same weapon that killed the rest of them. They can't prove that the sheath that was under Maddie had anything to do with Xana, Ethan, and Kaylee. So really, the only if the DNA on the sheets is the only thing that's holding the case together, really, only thing they can charge him with is Maddie's murder because that's the only thing that had his DNA. It doesn't matter where Kaylee was in the bed. That makes me feel like they moved Kaylee, okay, to kind of put her on his dime when really the only dime they have is Maddie because they claim the sheet was between Maddie and the comforter, right? All right, talk to me. Is this right what I'm saying?